How the heck are you? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday, the 7th day of July, 2020. That's right, it's 7-7. I'm Dan Coos. Thanks for starting your day with us. A little on the cool side, about 61 degrees outside of our studios. We're in for, I hate to say it, because it seems to be a broken record, but we're in for some breezy conditions today. The gradients are pretty tight. Going to be pretty windy. It started kicking up a little bit yesterday afternoon. Got windy overnight last night. It's I would call it breezy today. Right now we have a wind out of the west about 11 miles an hour, but wind's going to pick up in intensity. It's going to be considerably cooler today than it was yesterday. It's going to feel more like late May than early July as far as the temperatures are concerned, but we'll warm back up and we'll peak come Saturday with the warmest temperatures of the year. And just like they predicted, and I was rather surprised about this, I thought that's not going to happen, but it did. The Okanagan-Omak Valley got thunderstorms overnight last night. As the system came in from the south, it picked up in intensity. I thought, how's that going to happen? But it did. We had a couple of cells pop up late yesterday afternoon, made me thinking maybe we could have one of those, but it didn't happen. We kind of got past that. But yeah, we're going to have a windy day today, and then things are going to be nice. Forecast details are coming up. Lots of news to get to. Hey, sports. We finally have a Seattle Mariner schedule, an abbreviated schedule, 60 games, of course. They'll get going on July 24th. We'll talk about that schedule when we get to sports. We'll also have the obscure holiday, some celebrity birthdays today in history. Mike McNaughty opinion you've never seen before because we've never aired it before. And in the back half of the hour, it is Beth Stipe and Beth's Backyard Briefs, episode number 5, of course. Beth is the executive director of the Community Foundation in North Central Washington, and she's been quarantining herself. The offices have been shuttered for the most part, but they're still doing their work, and they do it well. And Beth has been keeping us in the loop with what the Community Foundation is doing by recording her updates in her backyard. And we'll get to see that again in the back half of the hour. Informative stuff indeed. All right, let's start our tour. That's how we always begin this award-winning program. This show has actually never won an award. You got to be nominated, I think, to win one. It looks like the cross camera is zoomed in just a little bit. The Otabashian Bridge and the pedestrian bridge is in the far, and then the Senator George Seller Bridge is in front of you. Can't really make out the Otabashian Bridge. Columbia River still running high, still running cold. But people are flocking to the parks anyway because we've had this beautiful weather. A lot of people think this is great weather because it's been sunny and warm but not hot. There are those who say turn up the heat. Either way, good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us. Camera number 2. We are off to, is that the Waterville, Megan? That's the Rude Canyon camera. Normally we see a little more trees and a little more mountains, but I believe that is the Waterville Plateau that we're looking at, just from a different angle. Good morning to our friends at Rude Canyon. By the way, sunrise this morning at 5:13, sunset at 8:59. That means 15 hours and 46 minutes of daylight. We're losing about 45 seconds of daylight a year and a day. And by the way, up there in Waterville, you can expect localized gusts near 40 miles an hour later on today. Waterville is used to it. Camera number 3. Let's see what we got. We got the Rondo Rock camera looking down towards the Wenatchee Valley. All the pressure now is off that highway, US 2/97. The highway on the east side of the Columbia River, now to the Knaps Hill Tunnel, has been reopened. It reopened just in time for the holiday weekend. In fact, we have some pretty fascinating time-lapse photography of the netting that they put up just below the Knaps Hill Tunnel to keep the rocks from coming down onto the roadway. That's a perennial problem. It never seems to go away. Maybe with the fact that they actually closed that stretch of the highway and got a lot of work done without ever having to worry about traffic or alternating traffic or anything like that. Maybe they made some significant headways and we can safely travel up 97A through the Knaps Hill Tunnel without having to worry about hitting a boulder or a boulder hitting you, for that matter. Good morning to our Rondo Rock people. And that's one of the few cameras that is not on a Sky-Fi camera, or tower, I should say. It's a standalone camera. Camera number 4. Hello to Leavenworth. Is that correct? Is that the Tumwater Canyon camera? Hi, Leavenworth. It's good to see you. Looking to the west towards the Wenatchee Valley. Beautiful view from Leavenworth. I haven't been up to Leavenworth in a while. I'll have to do something about that. Go up and see my friends in Leavenworth. Help the local economy. They seem to be doing okay despite the COVID-19 shutdowns. Of course, today is day number 1 where you're wearing a mask, or the proprietor of the business can say you can't come in unless you put a mask on. Most people during my running around over the weekend and yesterday, almost everybody that I saw in grocery shopping or whatever it was, they were all wearing masks. I think the message is out by now. Good morning to Leavenworth. It's good to see you. That concludes our tour of the North Central Washington area. One slide to show for me from the National Weather Service, and here we go again. For the winds, that pressure gradient is near the surface, and of course when it's near the surface, that means we go from breezy to gusty winds. The Columbia Basin is going to get some significant winds today, the gaps of the Cascades, so Leavenworth could get some windy conditions as well. Sustained winds at 20 miles an hour, gusts in the mid-30s. Localized gusts up near 40 to 45 miles an hour are distinctly possible in those gaps that I just talked about, plus those areas that are always susceptible to wind. I'm talking, of course, about Waterville and some other locations as well. The area lakes are going to be a little choppy today if you're going fishing. And of course, again, we're always concerned about fires taking off, and the wind has dried out the grasses and the brush and the sage, and something gets going. It could really get going with some significant winds, but it's going to be cooler than normal today. We're nowhere near a red flag warning. It takes a lot more than what we're going to have today. But yep, another breezy day today. Going to be breezy today and tonight, and then we calm down, as a matter of fact, by the time we get to Wednesday. From Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, who gives your home a hug. Here we go. Here's your forecast. You'll notice the sun. The sun's going to be prevalent pretty much all the time. A couple of passing clouds. That's all we're going to be dealing with. But it's going to be considerably cooler today because we still are under the influence of that cold front. 78. Our high today. Yesterday's high, by the way, 85 on Monday. Our normal high, 85. So it was a typically normal day. But it's going to be cooler today. And again, breezy. Pretty consistent northwest wind, about 20 miles an hour. Gusts in the Wenatchee Valley, 30 to 35 miles an hour. Even a localized gust near 40 or even above that in some locations. Can't seem to shake the wind. 59 for the overnight low tonight. Again, clear skies, still breezy. It will, in the overnight hours, decrease much to nothing, but still, we'll have breezy conditions right to about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Again, an overnight low of 59. Sunshine Wednesday, a little below normal, 83 our high, but no real wind to speak of. On Wednesday, we do it all over again on Thursday, mostly sunny skies. Again, a few passing clouds, high of about 83 degrees, light wind on Thursday. Thursday night, partly cloudy. Overnight low going to dip down to 58 degrees. Friday, we warm up to 87. Saturday looks to be the warmest spot, near 90 for the Wenatchee Valley. And then we cool off a little bit below average temperatures on Sunday and Monday. Sunshine prevalent across the board. Anywhere between breezy and windy today, depending on what your definition is. I'll leave that up to you. That's going to last through tonight, die down in the overnight hours. Lots of sunshine, a gradual warming trend topping off with a 90-degree high on Saturday, and then we cool back down on Sunday and Monday. Lots of sunshine, a little wind today, and temperatures about 7 to 8 degrees below normal for our afternoon high. 9 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick break and come back, and we'll have your Tuesday morning headlines. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
The best recipes being passed down through generations? Well, come on out to Blueberry Hills and find amazing food with huge portions at family-friendly prices. From Benedict's to burgers to fresh fruit pies, there is something for everyone. Don't miss Blueberry Hills, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. wildaboutberries.com.
Outside of a few high clouds, quite a bit of sunshine, 61 degrees, cooler than normal today. Our afternoon high will be about 77 or 78. Breezy to windy pretty much all day today. Into the evening hours, the wind will dissipate. Overnight, we'll have lots of sunshine and a gradual warming trend near 90, they tell us, by the time Saturday rolls around. And here are your headlines. A 75-year-old Cooley City man was killed Sunday morning when his bicycle was hit by a motorcycle. This happened on Highway 17, about 11 miles north of Soap Lake. The Washington State Patrol says Stanley Porterfield was riding his bike on the southbound shoulder just after 10 in the morning when he attempted to cross the highway onto Moore Road and was struck by a southbound motorcycle being ridden by 55-year-old Andrew Reeves of Phoenix. Porterfield was taken by air ambulance to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. He did not survive. Reeves was transported to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake with unspecified injuries. Another weekend collision to talk about. A Friday morning head-on near Okanagan left an 18-year-old woman dead and 2 people injured. The Washington State Patrol says 22-year-old Jose Orozco of Brewster faces charges of DUI and vehicular assault in the crash. It happened about 11:21 in the morning on Friday. The passenger in Orozco's Honda Accord, Melinda Salcido of Okanagan, was pronounced dead at the scene. Orozco allegedly crossed the center line while eastbound on Highway 20 south of Okanagan and struck an oncoming Dodge Ram pickup. The truck driver was unhurt, but one of his 2 passengers received minor injuries. By the way, Orozco was brought by air to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. His condition is unknown. Last week, with local rates of the coronavirus infection rising to 126 per 100,000 people, the Chelan-Douglas Board of Health voted to pause its progress towards applying for Phase 2 reopening. As of this morning, the case rate is now higher at 157 per 100,000, but board members and health experts say they're ready to ask the state to move into a new phase as soon as the virus rates come under control. Here's what they had to say at that board meeting.
We are prepared to submit for the next phase literally within 24 hours of hitting acceptable metrics. Now, the key word is acceptable. And at this point in time, they've increased the number of patients at the hospital on ventilators, actually to a point higher than the original onset. And I, as those of you who know me know, that was very much hoping that we could just keep moving forward. However, listening to the information that was given and a very sound argument by some of the medical professions that submitting an application at this point in time wouldn't be acceptable to the state and may even damage our credibility by doing so. And, you know, I have to respect that point of view.
We are managing the COVID illness in this region at the current levels of disease activity. However, we are really quite concerned at the trend. We have seen a relatively significant increase in disease activity over the last 2 weeks or so, and that we as a healthcare entity really cannot handle much more COVID activity in our hospital at this point without limiting other non-emergent medical care services. If the disease does plateau at its current level and is manageable, then we would certainly support more economic and social activity, as long as it does not lead to increased disease activity.
We are now in the second wave. It is now here. And I appreciate the work of the group and the recognition of the fact that we are not today in a position to reopen. We believe that when the numbers are up around 100, that is about the breaking point at where the hospital is going to need to start deploying contingency plans. So above a number of 100 is too high to be opening the economy. we have discovered over the past couple of months that when the number is around 50, so again, that's the incidence rate, that's the number of new cases per 100,000 over the last 2 weeks. When that number is around 50, we seem to do fine. So somewhere between 50 and 100 is sort of the key number that we're looking for. So what we decided was that if the number is at 75 and has plateaued or is decreasing back towards 50, then we would feel ready to resubmit our application, or an application to move to phase 2.0. If it is above 50, say somewhere around 75 and increasing, then we would want to hold. And certainly if it is above 100, like today at 126, we would recommend holding and not applying for further reopening.
And again, the current number that we have is 157 cases per 100,000. That's nowhere near where they would like to be. With health insurance largely tied to employment in this country, the COVID-19 economic shock was bound to have an impact. New figures from Washington's Office of Financial Management show the state's overall rate of uninsured citizens jumped from 6.7% to a high of 13% during the pandemic. Those numbers have since settled closer to 9%, but here in north central Washington, Chelan County jumped from an 11.4% uninsured rate to 13.7%. The rate in Douglas County went from 12.6% to 15.6%. More than 1 million workers in this state have lost their jobs in the first 10 weeks of the pandemic. Political campaigning has gone virtual during the COVID-19 pandemic. Coming up tomorrow, candidates for the 12th District State House seat square off in an online forum in Twisp. Adrienne Moore is the Democratic challenger to first-term Republican incumbent Keith Gaynor. The two share their views at 6:30 on Wednesday. It's an event sponsored by the Twisp River Grange. The Okanogan County Commissioner candidates are also on that schedule. You see the questions to be emailed for the candidates, and you can watch it Wednesday night on YouTube. Knapp's Hill Tunnel on Highway 97A reopened on Friday just in time for the holiday weekend. The tunnel had been closed since June 14th because, of course, the rock slide danger. As part of the slope stabilization project, a contractor installed netting on the hillside, and here's a time-lapse video of that installation. By the way, I wrote that song. Just kidding. And finally this morning, a barefoot walk through the carpets of the hallways of the memories of your mind. Of course, Walla Walla Pine Park was shut down Saturday night for the 4th of July fireworks show, but the show went on as scheduled. We were there. We televised it, and in case you missed it, here's some highlights. You couldn't hear or feel the concussions from that video, but trust us, we were pretty close. And you could feel it. That's what's making headlines at 20 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday. Once again, just a little shorthanded. It's vacation time of the year, so Eric Granstrom is on assignment, but we still have a newscast to do. I'll be handling sports tonight. You have to come to this. But Grant will be in the anchor chair with tonight's headlines with a preview. Here's the man himself.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, today marks the beginning of Governor Jay Inslee's no mask, no service mandate. We'll have more on that. I'll have your windy North Central Washington weather forecast. And Dan, you are in for Eric Granstrom all week. I believe you will have a look at the upcoming Major League Baseball schedule that was released today. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan, back to you.
Thank you, Grant. If you want to drop us a line, let us know how we're doing, or you want to submit a news tip, well, we're trying to give you as many different options as possible. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. Go to our website, ncwlife.com. We populate it on a pretty regular basis, as a matter of fact. You might want to bookmark it. And at the top of our homepage, you'll see the Contact Us icon. You can either submit a news tip or just drop us a note, or go to our Facebook page and use Facebook Messenger and drop us a line. All right, 22 minutes after the hour. Yeah, finally have a schedule. We know who the Mariners are going to play and when they're going to play them. And we'll talk about that when we get to sports. That's coming up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Back at it at 23 minutes after the hour. We've warmed up 65 degrees. Outside of our studios, high today of right around 77 or 78, so considerably cooler than yesterday, and quite a bit of wind all day today until the wind dies down tonight. And the one constant throughout the forecast period, sunshine. Let's do sports. Season may be shorter this year, but it's not going to be an easy road for the Seattle Mariners. They'll open their 2020 schedule with a 4-game series against the most hated team in baseball, the Houston Astros, the defending American League champions, and that starts on Friday, July 24th. We got the schedule. Yeah, Major League Baseball releasing its new 60-game schedule on Monday, so take a look-see. The Mariners will play 10 games against each of their rivals in the American League West, plus they'll play 20 games combined against the teams from the National League West. They'll play 6 versus the Padres, 4 games against the Dodgers and the Giants, and 3 games against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. The Mariners' home opener, Friday, July 31st against the A's in a game that kicks off a 10-game homestand at T-Mobile Park. At this point, fans aren't going to be allowed. Of course, that may change. The majority of the home games, by the way, are going to start at 6:10 in the afternoon or 6:40 in the afternoon. Usually they start at 7:10. A few weekday games will start earlier to accommodate travel for the visiting teams, and all Sunday home games are at 1:10 in the afternoon. Of course, the Astros have the Mariners' number. The Mariners were 0-10 against the Astros in Houston last season. In fact, in their 19 games against the Astros last year, the Mariners were 1-18. Houston is, after all, the 3-time defending American League West champions, so Seattle will look to turn that trend around when it opens the shortened season. A 3-game series in Anaheim against the Angels concludes the Mariners' opening road trip. Seattle will host the A's, the Angels, and the Rockies in their opening homestand, which includes 3 afternoon games. The entire 60-game schedule is against teams in the West divisions. Major League Baseball is dividing its 30 teams into 3 regions, the West, the Central, and the East. The whole idea is to reduce travel as we deal with the COVID-19 pandemic that forced the cancellation of the first 3.5 months of the baseball season. The Mariners will play 2 3-game series at home and on the road against the Padres, and 2-game home and road series against the Giants and the Dodgers, as well as 3 home games against the Rockies and 3 road games against the Diamondbacks. Don't forget, they got some rule changes this year. The designated hitter will be used in interleague games at National League parks for the first time this year. And one of the rule changes for the shortened season, the other significant change is that all extra inning games will begin with a designated runner on second base to start each half inning after the 9th inning. And in addition, relievers must face at least 3 batters or finish an inning before they can be replaced. Definitely a season of change. At this time last week, of course, local baseball fans were hoping some sort of baseball activity involving the Wenatchee Apple Sox will be taking place late this summer at Paul Thomas Senior Field. Of course, those dreams were dashed with the announcement in the middle of the week last week there would be no Apple Sox baseball at all this summer. The team owner, Jose Oglesby, explained how that decision was made in yesterday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
And we had always said that we needed to get to phase 3. Phase 3 is where we, can actually have some people in the stadium, and more importantly, is when you can have the team gather together to practice, right? So in phase 2, you can only have 5 people practice together or something like that. So that doesn't make it so that you can have organized workouts. So we need to get to phase 3, and then taking a look at where we were, the case numbers, it just became obvious that we were not going to make it to phase 3 until mid-August or something like that. And because of that, then we just had to make a decision, okay, we're not going to be able to have organized games at the park at all. So, we had to make the reluctant decision to call that off because, you can't keep people waiting forever.
Oglesby went on to tell me that all 13 teams in the West Coast League are committed to bringing back collegiate summertime baseball in the year 2021. And those are just some of the games that people aren't playing. On this Tuesday, I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Dive Bar Day. I've been in a few dive bars in my time. Today is National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. Today is National Strawberry Sundae Day. Can't go wrong with that, but stick a feather in your cap and call it macaroni. Today is National Macaroni Day. When we were kids, macaroni was a versatile food. You could eat it or you could turn it into artwork as a kindergartner and bring it back to your folks who would put it on the refrigerator. It is a rather versatile piece of pasta. And today is National Macaroni Day. The word macaroni is Greek in origin, and they would serve elbow macaroni, the stuff that you see there, at funeral services. It was known as the funeral food. Takes kind of the fun out of it. Oh well, what do you do? Of course, most kids just love macaroni and cheese. For one thing, for parents, it's easy to make. You boil the water, you put the macaroni in, you boil the macaroni, you put the junk in, and it's done. Of course, homemade macaroni and cheese with croutons is really the way to go. A number of years ago, 20 years ago or so, our family had a macaroni and cheese bake-off contest. And I can't remember who won. I want to say Corey did, but her macaroni and cheese was phenomenal. And of course, any kind of cheese works. Sharp cheese, Parmesan cheese, Romano cheese, mozzarella cheese. It's creamy. You can throw other stuff in there. Throw spices in your macaroni and cheese. Macaroni. Happy Macaroni Day. It's just Macaroni Day. I just associate macaroni with macaroni and cheese. Didn't he invent the radio? No, that was Marconi. That's right. That's the bottom of the hour today in history. Well, here we go. The United States began its very first military draft on this date. July 7th, 1863, 157 years ago. Of course, when the Civil War got going, they had about 2 million troops in the Union anyway, and they were all volunteers. Turns out that wasn't enough. So nope, we're going to start drafting you. Of course, for $300, you can get out of it. Yeah. Men, in fact, for quite some time, right up until mid-1964, men who were draft eligible would pool all of their money for the $300. And then if any of them got drafted, they could buy themselves out of it. Not a bad idea. The other popular means of getting a substitute so you wouldn't have to go to war was to pay a soldier who was already enlisted. That made things a lot easier because the Army didn't have to train a newbie. They already had somebody who knew what they were doing. And one interesting fact about the very first draft in this country's history, of the 168,649 men who were drafted into the Union Army during the Civil War, 117,986 were substitutes. So not a lot of guys who got drafted actually went to war. Started on this date 157 years ago. 155 years ago, speaking of the Civil War, the 4 conspirators involved with the assassination of President Lincoln were all hanged. Mary Surratt, Lewis Powell, David Harold, and George Axelrod. Now, Lewis Powell, David Harold, and George Axelrod, quite frankly, had it coming. Mary Surratt did not. She owned the boarding house, of course, where the conspirators holed up. She was the first woman ever to be executed by the federal government. Her only crime now, as we know, that we didn't know in 1865, is that she owned the boarding house where she had no idea that these guys had shot the president. She didn't know. News traveled slowly back in the mid-1880s, but she paid for it with her life on this date 155 years ago today. They started building Hoover Dam on this date 80 years ago today, July 7th, 1930. It's an impressive feat. That's what it looked like before they started building Hoover Dam. I've been there a couple of times. It's funny that Hoover Dam, one of the most impressive engineering feats in this country's history, this country's history was named after a president that wasn't exactly loved. Hoover Dam got its name basically from a publicity stunt. The Secretary of the Interior, Secretary Wilbur, traveled to the site to officially open the dam project on this date 80 years ago today. And with all the pageantry and the bands and everything, and he said, the Secretary of the Interior said, "I have the honor and the privilege to name the structure that you are beginning as the Hoover Dam." So basically, the Secretary of the Interior named the dam after his boss. They changed it to Boulder Dam, then they changed it back to Hoover Dam. And it's still a pretty darn impressive piece of engineering. They started building that dam on this date in 1930, and it took them a long time to build it, I might add. And finally, rock and roll history made on this date, July 7th, 1954, 66 years ago today. Just 2 days after Elvis Presley and Scotty and Bill recorded the song That's All Right Mama at the Memphis Recording Studios. They brought a 78 RPM acetate to WHBQ in Memphis, who played the record on the radio. Dewey Phillips played the record on the radio just 2 days after Elvis recorded it, and the phone lines just lit up. People said, "Who is this guy? What is this song? This is cool." He was able to get Elvis on the phone, and he asked Elvis a very important question. He said, "Elvis," because nobody knew who Elvis was. They just loved this song as well as they should. It's a classic. They said, "Elvis," he said, "where'd you go to high school?" And Elvis said, "I went to L.C. Humes High School in Memphis," which was code, which meant that guy was white. Everybody assumed, because they didn't know who Elvis was, that the guy singing That's All Right Mama on the Dewey Phillips show was African American. Nope, he was white. And yeah, it's still a great song. I played it the other day, over the weekend, as a matter of fact. Birthdays, the great Satchel Paige, Leroy Satchel Paige, born in the state in 1906, died of a heart attack in 1982 at the age of 75. He threw his first pitch in professional baseball in 1926 as a member of the Chattanooga White Sox. He threw his last game in organized baseball 40 years later in 1966 for the Peninsula Pilots. In between, in his 40 years of professional baseball, Satchel Paige threw more baseballs in more ballparks for more teams than any other player in history. He was the very first African American to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame who never played Major League Baseball after Jackie Robinson. Played for the Browns, won a world championship for the Cleveland Indians, was an all-star at the age of 40, 42 as a matter of fact. Leroy Satchel Paige, born in the state in 1906. And happy birthday, Richard Starkey, MBE, Ringo Starr, is 80 years old today. Rolling Stone magazine named him as the 5th greatest drummer in rock and roll history. It's all about the beat. You listened to the Beatles before Ringo and Pete Best was the drummer. They were good. They were missing something. They were missing the beat. Ringo brought that to the band. Of course, a 2-time inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Beatles in 1988 and as a solo artist in 2015. Every member of the Beatles has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. And by the way, he's also the wealthiest drummer in the world. He's worth about $350 million. Life has been good. Peace and love to Ringo Starr, who's 80 years old today. 36 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. We got a Mike McNaughty opinion you have never seen because we've never aired it. And then it's another edition of Beth's Backyard Briefs. Beth Stipe, the executive director of the Community Foundation in North Central Washington, has been keeping people in the loop on what her organization is doing by filming episodes of her Backyard Briefs in her backyard. We'll have episode number 5. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up in AUT Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
What's your auto-mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes. My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support. The Meat Shop in Chelan has all the meats, homemade side dishes, sauces, and rubs you need for a summer feast. The Meat Shop opens 6 days a week to serve you in downtown Chelan.
More than a health food store, it's your good food store. Bear Foods and Cafe Creperie, a feast for the eyes and the palate.
For the Chelan Valley's most unique tasting experience, visit One Wines, a true boutique winery producing only one white, one rosé, and one red with a rare exceptional vintage. Limited to 800 cases per year. Visit One Wines today. Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 6th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the doghouse?
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. This fall, be still my heart. But we have Donald Trump running against Joe Biden. Trump the pig against Creepy Joe. Good grief, America. Is this the best we can do? Why is it that over the recent years we've had horrible choices to make when there are, I believe, competent, capable people of integrity who many of us would be happy to vote for? Like Condoleezza Rice, for example. I'd vote for her in a heartbeat. But I suspect that when her term as Secretary of State was done, she had the brains to flee the swamp and get out of Dodge. Now maybe that's the problem. The smart, intelligent, and capable people don't want the job. That could be it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
At Town Toyota, we believe in our community, and we're proud to support this broadcast of local sports. Town Toyota defines reliability and value in both its products and in the dealership itself. We are home to legendary products like the RAV4, Highlander, and Camry, not to mention Tundras and Tacoma trucks. Of course, we offer service for everything we sell and a great selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles as well. So enjoy the game and visit Town Toyota for all your automotive needs.
Kindness makes a world of difference at Boswell's. Donate $50 or more to charity and save more than ever before on stressless seating. Save at least $300 on stressless recliners and office chairs. Plus save hundreds more with $200 off every sofa seat you buy. There's never been a better time to help others and fill your home with the unmatched comfort of stressless seating. Be kind and save generously at Boswell's.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for dine-in and take-out. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner, dine-in or take-out.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Welcome back. We're back in the backyard. I'm Beth Stipe with the Community Foundation of North Central Washington, and it's been a while since we've checked in with you, so we thought it was time that we catch you up on what's been going on with your community foundation. So first, we always like to say thank you to all of you who have helped to support the Helping Hands COVID-19 Response Fund, and in particular the All in Washington campaign. To date, towards that campaign, $83,000 has been raised and will be matched by Jeff Bezos. So we're very excited that those dollars are going to be here to help our safety net organizations that are doing the hard work of helping those most in need and most vulnerable in our communities. So we're very grateful to all of you. We're also very thankful for all of the notes of encouragement that you've been sending our way. We really do appreciate those. And one of the ones I wanted to share with you today came from someone who made a contribution during the All in Washington concert that was held last Wednesday. And this gift is in memory of all loved ones lost to COVID-19. And she also added in the note, to all the people making positive impacts during this pandemic. And I have to say, I would like to echo that sentiment as well. We are so grateful for all of you who are stepping up and doing your part to help keep our community safe, to help our businesses get back to work, and to help in the recovery efforts of all of North Central Washington. So thank you. Keep up the good work. Unfortunately, I think we're just in the early legs of the marathon. And so stay hydrated, stay protected, and keep going forward. That's what we're all here to do. And so in response to that, the Community Foundation of North Central Washington also felt like we had to really look at what we're doing in the community to make sure that we're helping in the recovery efforts of all of our nonprofits and our citizens in North Central Washington. And so the Board of Trustees has determined that we're going to change up our grant making for this year to help better respond to the changing needs that are happening day to day during this crisis. So we have two parallel tracks that we're doing with our grant making program this year. The first track is, of course, our Helping Hands COVID-19 Response Fund, which we are changing the criteria a bit to be able to do larger grants. Currently, the cap is $3,000. And so we're going to be lifting that cap, and we're going to be focusing on those safety net organizations working in housing, food security, child care, safety, and health and wellness. So those organizations will be able to apply for funding until that funding is gone on an open invitation, and we'll look at those every couple of weeks to make sure that we're getting funding out as quickly as possible. The second side of our parallel track of grant making is our recovery side, and we're doing two different responses to that: direct response with dollars, as well as our training program. And Claire Odie has done a really significant job in creating our plan for our trainings that we do this year. They're going to be Zoom instead of in person, which is what we've always been doing for the last decade. And so we have a really great platform to be doing this on, and it's going to be free of charge to anyone who wants to participate. And we're also going to be posting those on our website. So if you can't participate in the live Zoom meeting, you'll be able to see the recording of the information and have that learning when it's convenient for you. The areas that we're going to be focusing on this year are leading in times of uncertainty, nonprofit financial strategy in response to crisis, 6 superpowers of a small nonprofit fundraiser, network leadership, collaboration for greater impact. And then finally in October, we're going to do a community conversation around some next steps and what we think the needs of the community are and how we can best respond to those needs collectively as a nonprofit sector. So we're very excited to participate in that. Also, our direct response grants, which is the dollars that the Community Foundation has available thanks to donors like you, to be able to go out and meet the changing needs of our community. So those are going to happen more frequently. Typically we have one grant cycle per year, which was our Regional Impact Grant Program, and we're now moving only to recovery grants. And those grants will be available 4 times during the next year, and there will be $100,000 available in each of those cycles. And the board will be reviewing those applications on a rolling deadline. So that's pretty exciting, and we're hoping to be able to get dollars out more frequently. We're also hoping that this will enable organizations to be able to apply when they're ready, when they understand what the world is looking like for their mission and how they're going to best serve their constituents in our communities. So we don't want people to try to rush in to get some funding until they're ready and they know what their process is going to be and how the funds can best help them to be successful moving forward. So we're pretty excited about that. The other thing that the board really wanted to do was to figure out how we could best serve more nonprofits in our region and to help them during this time when they are going to need more donations and enabling them to help themselves. So we're really fortunate that we have a crowdfunding platform built into our infrastructure, and we're able to offer that up to our nonprofit organizations in North Central Washington. So the Community Foundation is going to do 3 crowdfunding campaigns this year, and we're going to be doing the marketing towards that and to help those organizations to maximize their impact and to engage with donors in the community who want to do some helping of our nonprofits. So the first is our Give Metau campaign, which will happen in October. Our Give NCW campaign, which will be broadened outside of our normal 25 organizations to any organization that's been a grantee of the Community Foundation in the past and works in North Central Washington. And then this year we're adding a 3rd campaign, and it's our Back to Basics campaign. And this campaign is going to help support the school districts in North Central Washington as they try to return and help our kids and support our families that are going to school. These funds will be used to help individual needs of kids and families as teachers, counselors, administrators, find that there are needs that families have in order to enable them to get their kids to school safely and to keep learning. So we're pretty excited about that. You can check all of this information out on our website, cfncw.org. You can call us. We're in the office. We're socially distanced. We have masks. If you'd like to come and visit with us, we would love to see you. We do ask that you wear a mask based on our state's directive to do so. We want to keep everyone safe and be in compliance. So call us, make an appointment, stop by. We'd love to see you. Call us. We'd love to hear from you. But most importantly, stay safe. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the backyard again very soon. And yes, Clark is here. He's busy chewing on his ball. Take care.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Don't worry, all the fun is around the corner. There's no better time to get ready than now with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa Sale. Stock Up and Save sale is now going on in-store and online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Even pool heaters are on sale. Financing available upon approval. Credit 24-month, no interest with equal payments. Stop by today or order online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Free water testing available in store or curbside. Don't wait, the sale is going on now.
This hasn't been easy for any of us, and we don't know all that lies ahead. But as local business owners, we can't wait to welcome you back. So as we reopen, we'll be wearing masks. We all have different opinions about them, but standing with your neighbor sometimes means standing in the uncomfortable. And you can stand with us by wearing a mask when you visit.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
This is Caitlin Hedersheet, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
And we're back at, let's see, 53 minutes after the hour. It was nice to see Beth Stipe again with Beth's Backyard Briefs. Can't wait to visit with Beth in person here in the studio, but hopefully that time will come. We have some time. We'll take you around the valley again with our Valley View cameras as the sun is now getting the job done. It came up at 5:13 this morning. It'll dip behind the foothills of Wenatchee at 8:59, so it's before 9 o'clock now. Sunset is. That's 15 hours and 46 minutes of daylight. We're losing about 45 seconds of daylight a day, which is almost imperceptible this time of the year. You can see a few high clouds to the north of us. Outside of that, things are looking good. Still have the remnants of that cold front that passed through beginning really last night, and it's going to affect us today. Quite a bit windy today, breezy to windy. Certainly cooler temperatures than we had yesterday. Monday's high, 85, was exactly normal. Our normal high for July 6th would be 85 degrees. Our low overnight was 61, our normal 61. That rarely happens, but it happened. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley, Wenatchee East, Wenatchee, Sunday Slope, Badger Mountain, Bear, and Birch Mountain, and everybody else. Thanks for starting your day with us. Camera number 2. If we're using the same cameras And I think we are. I think we're off to Rude Canyon. We are off to Rude Canyon, looking out over the Waterville Plateau. It's a beautiful area there, Rude Canyon. Of course, Douglas Creek runs right by Rude Canyon. In fact, Douglas Creek is kind of the cause of Rude Canyon. That's why it's there, because the creek is there. Eventually, of course, it runs down into the Moses Coulee area. And if you squint, I think, can you make out Douglas or Waterville from there? Hard to tell. And again, you can see a few high clouds up on the plateau from our tower up in Rude Canyon. A lot of our Sky 5 customers use the Rude Canyon tower for their internet because, well, they don't really have much of a choice. Most people really like to have their high-speed internet. Good morning to our friends up in the Waterville Plateau. Get ready for windy conditions today in H2Oville. Camera number 3. I think we're off to the Orondo Rock camera, and we are. And again, that's not on the Sky 5 tower. That's a standalone camera as the traffic is flowing smoothly on US 2, US 97 on the east side of the Columbia River. Lake Aniat is dominating your view there. If you're heading out on Lake Aniat today, for whatever the case may be, you're going to have some choppy waters. It looks smooth and clean right now, but that's going to change. It's going to change because we're going to have all that wind. That's going to make any kind of lake or any kind of large body of water that doesn't move a great deal quite choppy with the winds picking up in intensity. Good morning to our friends at the Orondo Rock area. There's a car pulling over to the side of the road. Camera number 4. I think we are off to Leavenworth, and we are. Good morning, Leavenworth, from our Tumwater Canyon camera. If we pan that a little bit to the right, you can see most of downtown Leavenworth and most of Leavenworth, period. We have that tilted a little bit to the northeast, so we can see down towards the Wenatchee Valley. Good morning to Leavenworth. It's going to be a little breezy in the Leavenworth area as well because, of course, they're susceptible to the wind when you get into those cascade gaps. That's when the wind can get channeled and pick up in intensity. So there you go. We took our little tour around North Central Washington. Glad we did. In fact, right now, let me check. It is 58 degrees in Leavenworth. It's a little chilly. We're at 66 here in downtown Wenatchee. Once again, the big story today, and it's been this way really all spring and into summer, is the wind. We're looking at more sustained winds. That pressure gradient is pretty strong, and it's right near the surface, which means breezy to windy conditions, depending on what you'd like to call it. We're looking at sustained winds right around 20 miles an hour for the Wenatchee Valley, gusts above 30 at times, and again, above 40 are distinctly possible for us here in the Wenatchee Valley proper and in the Waterville Plateau. Those areas that are exposed to wind are going to get a lot of it today. So there you go. And it's eventually going to work its way to the east, to the Columbia Basin, towards the Palouse and the Spokane area. So there could even be some blowing dust out in the Palouse area. So again, as I mentioned before, watch out for the choppy water on the area lakes if you're heading out to do a little fishing or some water skiing or whatever the case may be. And again, any kind of little fire that gets going could really get taken off because the humidity isn't much. It's 42% right now, relative humidity. So we've had a lot of wind, and not necessarily warm temperatures, but a lot of wind, and that dries out the grasses and the sage, and any kind of fire that gets going with these windy conditions could really get going. So that's a quick look at what we're dealing with today in depth. Let's take a look at the forecast. You'll notice the sun across the board all the way through Monday of next week. That's not going to be the issue. The issue today, again, is going to be the wind and cooler. We hit 85 yesterday. We're going to get to about 77 or 78 today with just a few high clouds. And yep, going to be breezy. Sustained wind this morning, 13 to 15 miles an hour. Later on this afternoon, sustained winds at 20 miles an hour. Gusts above 30 at times. Rogue gusts, localized gusts near 40 are possible, not only for the Wenatchee Valley, but for the Waterville Plateau. Clear tonight, 56 for the overnight low. Still breezy until about midnight. Eventually, the winds will be dissipating overnight as you're sleeping, but we're still going to have gusty conditions into the evening hours tonight. Not a lot of wind to deal with tomorrow. The cold front will be out of here. That's why we're going to have warmer temperatures and very little wind, high of 83 on Wednesday, 60 for the overnight low on Wednesday night, and then we start warming up. Thursday, quite a bit of sunshine. Again, not all sunshine, still some passing clouds, high of 83. 58 for the overnight low on Thursday. No wind in the forecast for Thursday or Thursday night. Friday, sunshine, warmer still, 87. 59 for the overnight low on Friday night as we get the weekend going. Saturday, the hottest day of the forecast period with a high of about 90 degrees. And then a gradual cool down, once again, cooler temperatures for the early part of next week. Have yourself a good and safe Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.